All right, guys, if I'm in my basement, you know what that means. Ruby's trying to sleep. And hopefully, the sound of the washing machine will tune her out. Or tune me out, not tune her out. Tune me out, you know what I'm saying. It is Thursday, April 9th. We are nearing the end of another week of school. I have just noticed that I appear to be wearing the same shirt in every single video. That is embarrassing. I would tell you that it's clean. Sometimes it is. I have play clothes that I like to wear with Ruby, and I got no other explanation for you there. Instead of an event of the day, I kind of wanted to update you. If you missed the team meeting this morning that I did not give you a ton of warning about, I just want to say I'm really sorry I missed you. It was really, really good to see the faces of everybody who did show up. As isolated as I think you guys are probably feeling from your friends, I am also feeling a little isolated from you guys. I really, really miss seeing you every day. Even though I see your work and things like that, it's really hard to not connect personally. So I'm definitely struggling with that. And I'm also struggling to feel like I'm doing a good job teaching just because this is not the forum that I feel like I excel in. And I feel like so much of the work that I give you is just such small potatoes in comparison to the rest of the stuff going on in the world. And there's no way that I can recreate my classroom in a truly meaningful way. Okay, that being said, some of the things we talked about, and Mr. Holt Shannon showed up. Miss Mulqueen and Mr. Paiva had other obligations that they had to attend to at that time. And so Mr. Holt Shannon and I talked about trying to do some live classes, like a couple times a week, for about a half hour, like jumping on with as many kids as we can get and talking through some lessons, in hopes that maybe helps a little. He's tried that a little bit. I've done the big group chat thing a little bit. So hopefully we can make something work. Another thing that I've been getting feedback on is that students are feeling a lot of stress. Some of that is coming from the way assignments are disseminated, and some of that is coming from, I don't know, the pandemic that's happening in the world right now. So I wanted to reassure you about a couple of things. First of all, your teachers are trying to not all roll workout at exactly the same time. We thought that it would be easiest to give you all your work at like 8 a.m. and then you could kind of pick and choose when you worked on it, but I don't really think that's helping you. We're also going to try to limit the number of notifications that our classrooms have throughout the day. So for example, I have an event one, and I have the video one, and I have the quote one, and I have the assignment one, and that's 4 unnecessarily dings on your phone right there. So we are, all 4 of us are going to work to minimize that. I'm definitely feeling the stress that some of you are feeling. I'm feeling that from your frantic emails or texted questions or comments on Classroom, or even in some office hours when I'm chatting with people. And we hear you. We really do. We're trying to recreate a classroom that no longer exists, at least for the time being, on this new to all of us virtual platform. And so, sometimes we feel like, if we give you more work, you'll be extra busy and then you won't realize all the things that are going on outside of your life. But I also think that one thing we're trying to keep in mind of, because some of you have brought it to our attention, is that you have a lot of things going on outside of school, and it can be hard to focus on schoolwork. So, don't stress so much. Like when we say things are due, don't stress so much about it. I mean, don't let the world pass you by, but we're flexible with students turning work in after the deadline. A lot of times I've been putting points on rated assignments in Google Classroom because I thought I had to. I didn't realize I could just click ungraded. We're focusing on giving you feedback. So not saying that something is a 90 or a 100 or an A or a C. But rather saying, actually like responding to you and saying, hey, this looks really cool. I have some questions. But we are also trying to figure that out. So we are thinking that there's going to be some sort of pass-fail system for grades for the end of third and fourth quarter, but don't know, too much about that. We know probably about as much as you do, because like I said, this is new to all of us, and we're sort of, what is the phrase, building the plane while flying. Another thing that we mentioned, which, we can tell on some of our platforms, Newsela and Khan Academy keep track of how many minutes you guys are on there. So I know some of you have been reporting that you've been on math lessons for like a half hour, 40 minutes. And Ms. Mulqueen can definitely see when you've spent like 6 minutes on something. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like, if you're going to take the energy to lie, just don't. Just like admit it. Like, we would rather deal with like real people. Much like you, I think, prefer when I'm like, that did not go as I planned, or I don't really know the answer to that, and let's figure it out together. We're really, really looking for feedback from you, because we don't have that face-to-face interaction for you guys to say, hey, I'm stressed out, or I'm a little confused, or I'm overwhelmed. It's hard for us to know what you need, which is hard. How many times can I say that something is difficult or hard in an almost 7-minute video? I don't want to be a downer at all. Like, that's not why I do these little videos. It's not why I hop on here. I don't want to harp on anybody for work. I like to think that I'm pretty reasonable and understanding. So if you're feeling stress or anxiety or whatever, like, just reach out and let me know. I'm more than happy to at least talk about it with you. I remember after, actually on 9/11, I was a freshman, so I was right around your age. On 9/11, there was a lot of like rumors and a lot of stuff happening in the news, and it was all over the radio, and we didn't really have as much access to the internet as we do now, but you couldn't avoid it. And, we watched it for a little bit, but then my mom like sat me down at the table and she's like, okay, Kelly, it's time to work on your homework. She did make me a mocha shake though, which was pretty delicious, as I recall. And that was hard. I mean, I respect that, and I really valued her decision to kind of sit us down and have us do homework, because I think she was trying to make a totally abnormal situation feel just a little bit more normal. But on the other hand, life wasn't normal on 9/11 or September 12th or the 13th or the 14th or for months and months afterward. In a lot of ways, it's never returned to what it once was. And I think that one thing that we're all going to have to accept is that we're in this moment, which in some ways is a little bit more, I mean, maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot. In some ways is more overwhelming and more stressful than what 9/11 was, because it's constant and it's been going on for a period of time, and it's still going on, and you're hearing all these really scary numbers and predictions, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And your social studies teacher made the grave mistake of showing contagion this year. Anyway, so in some ways this is like worse, and that's got to affect you. And there were times after 9/11 that I remember sitting in class and being like, who cares? There are so many more important things going on in the world. And so we, as your teachers, are having a hard time finding that balance of, yes, this is a scary world moment. Yes, schoolwork is important. Yes, we really care about you and want you to be happy and well. We're teachers. Like, our goal is to, help you learn and excite you and motivate you and have high standards for you. And those are things that we can't really do in the way that we're used to. So that's hard. And I'm certainly not saying that life is harder for us than it is for you guys, but I'm just trying to tell you where we're coming from. I shared a little anecdote with everybody this morning. Oops. I think I just dented my dryer. I shared an anecdote this morning which may or may not help some of you. So I was super overwhelmed after I had Ruby. You know, it's like one day you're responsible for yourself and your mom is still sometimes packing your lunch at the age of 30 to get you to school on time. And then the next day you're responsible for this whole other human. And, you know, babies are just these teeny tiny little beings, and they, you know, every single thing they need to get from you. There were definitely a couple moments where I had these sort of like, I don't want to say breakdowns, but overwhelming anxiety. And I remember my mom saying on more than one occasion, you know, do you love her? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, do you think you're doing your best? And I was like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, sometimes doing your best is, you know, holding her and reading to her and singing songs to her. Sometimes doing your best is putting her in her crib and walking away for a little bit while she cries. Sometimes doing your best is her having animal crackers and raisins for dinner. Sometimes your best is making a gourmet meal. Your best can look different every single day, but as long as every day you go to bed at night and you lay your head down on your pillow and you say, I tried my best today, that's the only thing that matters. Okay, so your best tomorrow might look like knocking out every single assignment and going back for more and trying some of those choice activities. And your best on Friday might be, well, I tried. Okay, we just want you to do your best. We want you to try your hardest. We want you to feel your best, and everything will be okay. Okay. I had a rough day today. I don't know if you can tell or not. It was hard. It was hard seeing you. It was amazing seeing you. Had some conversations with coworkers that did not go as planned. But I was giving Ruby her bath tonight, and we play this game where I put a little towel on her shoulders and we say Super Ruby, and it's really sweet. She does this like superhero pose. And tonight, she took the little towel and she put it on my shoulders and she was like, Super Mommy. And it was super sweet. But after a day where she definitely watched too many episodes of Puppy Dog Pals and definitely had ice cream for, I don't want to say how many meals today because you'll judge me. And Cheerios were definitely a vegetable at lunchtime. That was the best I had. And she didn't care because she still loved me. And that's kind of how I feel about you guys. I want you to do your best. And sometimes that's going to look really different, but as long as I know that you're happy and you're doing well, I really care about you. And so that's what's important to me. Wow, this was long. I can't imagine that you possibly made it this far in my video, and I hope that you can all hear me over the sound of my very scary washing machine. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. I'm more than happy to chat about it one-on-one. I think we're gonna have some trivia tomorrow, so get excited for that. I'm gonna go back upstairs and wash some dishes, maybe, watch some Jeopardy, definitely, kick my husband's butt at Jeopardy, as I did last night, and yeah, take it from there, one day at a time, okay? All right, guys, I love you, I miss you, I'm awkward.